Mamba Pro circuit board. So you're going to take a flat tip screwdriver, you're going to pry it apart. I didn't want to cut my Dean's connector off, so I whittled away the case to get the wires out, and then I can still put it all back together. The other reason I don't really need the case is I don't need a fan, and I play in the water, so the fan is sort of, it's not going to last long if it stays anyway, and then it'll just be in the way. So we're gonna lose the fan, and this is the piece that we're looking for. This ESC is a little different, and the difference here is all of these other ones, there's some slop in the case, so I fill the bottom with epoxy and then I sink the board down into it. Where this one, it fits so damn tight that there's no space for the epoxy to come up around. So what we're going to do with this one, and I've been looking at it for a couple days, I've been thinking, I'm going to cut out the bottom of this, and that's going to let me epoxy it from one side solid, and then the epoxy will just make it the new bottom, and then I'll pour the epoxy from the top and seal it in there, and I think that's going to be the hot setup. Of course, now they have the I think it's the version 2 Mamba Pro that comes waterproof. Maybe it's version 3. The version 3 sidewinders are waterproof. The version 2 Mamba Monster is waterproof. And some of you that follow my videos are like, wait a minute, you always run the Valenian and the VXL. And you're right, I always have. But I really like this motor. I mean, I really like this motor. I think that it's a fantastic little guy. It's light and it packs the same power that I was getting out of some 550 can motors. And so I'm going to be switching over. I'm going to be running the 3800 and pretty much everything that ever had a Traxxas motor in it. The Sidewinder is going to be dedicated to the Honcho, and that's a 2S deal. And then in the blue is getting the Mamba Pro with 3800 on 3S. And then I got a little top secret project. It's a Mamba Monster with a undisclosed motor. So more on that as the time comes. So now we're going to start this here. And I'm hoping the camera's in focus. I'm really hoping. And we're going to start by drilling a hole in this. Let me grab a block of wood. I almost made it to the trash can. And then we're going to take a trusty Dremel. Now I got a little access hole started. A little more gas. Clean up the hole a little bit. Alright, so there's that. Grab the shop vac, clean up my mess. Good thing I just cleaned up my mess. Good looking X-Acto blade in it. I like to get my money's worth out of those. Alright, so now we're going to get our Mamba Pro. Now I'm just thinking how I want the wires to come out. Ideally I want to get a little epoxy underneath here. Alright, I'll do it in stages. Alright, mixing cup. Tonight I'm using 15-minute epoxy. I like to have 25 or 30 ideally when I'm doing waterproofing, just so it has time to creep everywhere. but 5 or 6 minutes is definitely not enough. 15 minutes is going to work, and I'm going to use some heat to help it flow. And this is from Tom Thumb Hobbies. This is my local hobby store. Kind of a grumpy guy, but I think he means well. Alright, I'm going to go grab my mixing bowl, and I will be right back. Okay, so I think I got everything. To help keep it, it's about, I don't know, 58 degrees in the garage. So I'm going to use this candle warmer. But if you try duplicating any of this stuff, please be careful. I'm not liable. I didn't tell you to do it. I didn't tell you you could. Alright, so let's get this guy down in here. Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to do now. We're letting this warm up. So I'm going to put a little epoxy right here, and then we're going to put this together, and then I'm going to pour the rest of it in the bottom. That's the plan. I kind of don't know. I don't really care if I have a censored port or not. But resale value wise, it would definitely be better off with it. We're just gonna have to see what happens. That's what's gonna happen. So I'm using this here old scooper. It's gonna be my mixer. And I have a tongue depressor here that I already used half of for something else. That looks about like what we're looking for. Gonna be playing speed up the process here. We're just going to mix up a little batch to do under the wires with, and then get her down in there, and because it takes quite a bit. When I did the Sidewinder, I think I mixed up like an ounce or ounce and a half or something. Ounce and a half maybe. Forcing it down underneath the heatsink there on the end. Just going to stick the wires down inside the heatsink here to hold them. Pretty big gap around the fan port, and that's going to be a problem. Never fear, I have a plan. I am shooting with a GoPro with a modified Rage Cam's 4mm lens, so I have no idea what it's really shooting at. I hope. And then you'll wait and see, and then you're really happy when it's right, and then if I have to redo it all, then I'd just be pissed. Grab some 5-minute epoxy here, then I'm going to use that around the ports, because I'm pretty sure I can keep it at bay long enough until it sets. It's working out pretty good. Came over a little bit on the fan port, but I'll be able to trim that up later with a knife. I try to visualize if I was filling up the case how much it would take. That's my scientific method. Of trying to get enough epoxy. This is not good for your warranty at all. If you do this to your ESC and you send it back to Castle, you'll have to pay the $35 or $55 or $85. It depends on the ESC. But this is definitely a will void your warranty type maneuver. I've used the liquid electrical tape. I tried the stuff for the grips, the rubber coating, or whatever the hell it's called. It's late. I'm tired. I'm busy. But that stuff. I don't know. I just don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling about it. I'll show. This ESC was done with the electrical tape, and I will liquid electrical tape. I'll go grab that while this is setting up. And it's a little scary. It peeled right off and you can see pretty much right through it. So, and there was as much dirt and sand behind it as there was on top of it. So I'm going to say it was more luck that it didn't burn up than the electrical tape actually doing its job. Pop the air bubbles. I guess 15 minutes probably long enough. I just like the longer curing. It just gives you more time. No rush. I have no intentions of running it tonight. I do have to wait for it to cure this so I can flip it over and do the other side and then wait some more. Now we hurry up and wait. Okay, we're on the home stretch. Just gotta do the front. It'll be forever epoxied to my vise. A little out of control on this one. This has acetone on it. Man, I'm gonna have to mix up just a little bit more. This is where I should just stop and leave well enough alone, but I'll just keep pissing with it until I screw it up. Alright, now it's a hurry up and wait thing. Another 25 minutes. Actually, it's going to be tomorrow since it's almost midnight, and I'm going to bed. Alright, here's our finished piece. Here's the top. And give me a second, I'll put the case back together. Ta-da! Good as new. I'd need to file the epoxy a little bit to get it completely back together. I could probably force this other side. But like I said at the beginning, I'm not worried about the case because it just takes up more space, and inside of a Wraith you don't really have a lot of space to start with. But that is the finished product. You see the bottom, you still put your two-sided tape, or IE6000 all my stuff down now. Thanks for watching.